The citrus greening disease is caused by 3 strains of bacterium. It is spread by sap-sucking insects that are fortunately not present in Australia. The disease invades the plant's nutrient-conducting tissues, and as a result, it will leave them incapable of reproducing and the tree will eventually die. Unfortunately, the citrus greening disease has no cure. The main course of action would be to prevent it. If infected material were to be brought in, it could lead to an introduction of the disease to Australian citrus plants. Australia's strict quarantine is the reason citrus greening disease isn't present within our environment. Quarantine stops citrus greening from entering Australia. People who smuggle infected planting material into the country pose a huge threat to the Australian citrus industry and native insects and plants. The only way to fight the disease is to remove all infected trees and replace them. This would cause the cost of Australia's citrus plants and products to rise, plantations would suffer severely, and the losses of jobs are possible. It would also impact on the removal of the habitat possible insects live in. Regular movement of propagating material, destruction of infected trees, and control of insect vectors help with the prevention of the spread of the disease. Although Australia has a strict quarantine process, there is still a possibility that the disease could be introduced. So far, the Australian Quarantine and Inspection Service thoroughly inspects any legal host plants imports. Because citrus greening has not spread to Australia, no developments have been made in changing methods in order to control the disease. However, Serena Locke reported that the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research have partnered with countries such as Vietnam and Indonesia to conduct projects to find a cure. For example, they have found that mineral oil vapors scares away the insects, and as a result, eggs won't be laid. Anthrax is caused by the bacterium Bacillus amphotaceus. The bacteria can form spores, therefore allowing them to survive for a very long time. The bacteria are carried by animals that eat plants. Livestock, such as cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, and horses are common victims within Australia. Anthrax can result in death. Because of its detrimental nature, anthrax causes a considerably large number of deaths within the livestock population in Australia, especially under the anthrax belt. The anthrax belt is where the majority of anthrax cases are found. This is located within the central New South Wales and northern Victoria. People can become infected by inhaling or breathing in spores, which can come from infected animal products such as wool or the soil. Wear protective equipment and clothing. If broken skin is present, it should be protected with sealed waterproof dressings to prevent any anthrax spores from getting into the skin and infecting people. If the person does become infected, antibiotics are sometimes used to help prevent infection. Unfortunately, there are no available vaccines for humans. Prevention also comes in the form of vaccination and antibiotics for the use on livestock. The vaccine and antibiotics must not be used at the same time to prevent the interference of the development of protective immunity in the animal. Take extreme care when disposing of infected carcasses, which then minimizes the risk of spores to contaminate the environment. Those who handle infected carcasses must avoid any direct contact by using protective equipment and clothing as mentioned before. Anthrax within farm animals have well-developed plans that are designed to control an outbreak and prevent infection from spreading. For example, in a farm that is suspected of anthrax, it will be quarantined, the animals are vaccinated, and the dead animals are disposed of appropriately to prevent the contamination of the soil as much as possible.